College of Engineering. Very traditionally got into a campus-based job, got out. And my life was kind of set out to be an engineer and with no sight of education. And finally, I also thought of trying my hand at advertising. So I went into advertising with the grand view of doing an MBA in marketing because it was very, very popular those days. And somehow along the way, due to a personal situation, came in an opportunity to engage with education. And when I went back to education, it was a CBSE school. And I was pretty young. I hadn't been out of school for, say, I'm not going to tell my age. Now I've been out of it for long. But I was still young. And I looked back at the books that I went back to, and I felt they were the same books that I studied. I looked at what was happening around, and I felt everything is the same. Nothing has changed. But I had changed. I had changed in those 12, 13 years a lot. And somehow I felt that this is something that calls for me. It calls for me. From a very young age, I think I have believed in change a lot. And I felt something or somebody or some people have to come together and realize that change is inevitable. And that is where I decided to continue in education. My first Kairos moment, I think. And the second one was when I went to work with the British school in Delhi. We had a principal by the name of Miss Shalini Advani. And I was a very new teacher. That school had 64 nationalities of students and diverse staff. And again, at a very young age, I was horribly lost. I felt so incompetent. And believe me, today when I stand here and speak in front of you, I couldn't open my mouth. I didn't have my voice at all. And the first Monday when we walked into the staff room for a meeting, I saw the principal walk in after people, and everybody is walking in. The staff comes in, they seated themselves on the big table, the chairs around there, and the sofas. Everything became full. She walked in, and she remained standing. She did not expect anyone to get up. There was no such mark of leadership that I would say. And yet when she entered the room, something changed. It was so profound. Just observing her speak, engage with people as she walked around, the sort of decisions she took for her staff or her community, the strength that she exuded, the courage with which she led. In my life, I always felt that if I ever grow into leadership, that's who I would like to be. My second Kairos moment, I think, which has defined my leadership. And to this day, when I meet her, we meet very warmly, and I tell her that we are the Eklavya and Dronacharya story, except that you didn't ask for my thumb, and I'm glad for it. But we are that story. And for students, I want to say one thing. Kairos moments are everywhere. I'll narrate very quickly the story of a young girl who came to me as a TP student. I was in Mumbai. She was from a state board until grade 10 and came to do the DP1. And I was heading this, I was the head of secondary school and teaching physics. Those who are DP students will appreciate the workload of someone who's doing that. And I taught physics higher level, maths higher level, and TOK, 3 subjects with it. So she came to my class of math higher level and physics higher level. And TOK, of course, it was inevitable. And within 2 weeks, I'm not so nice when I'm talking to students the first time, okay? My orientations are very tough. So everybody felt that, oh, she's a devil, and they were scared of me. So 2 weeks later, I called her parents and I said, well, she's not going to be able to clear either a physics HL or a math HL, and she has to change. But in those 2 weeks, she'd been in my TOK classes, and she had actually seen me as a person. So she just said, I'll give up physics HL, but I will not give up math HL. And the reason being that I want to be with you. And she was stubborn as hell. And I said, okay, let's give it a trial. But I said, however hard you work, you're not going to go beyond a 4. That's what you will be. So you need to reconcile to that. And she said, I'm prepared to take the chance. And then started a journey. And I saw her work very hard. She would land up at my place on Fridays, stay overnights, became friends with my kids. And at the end of 2 years, it was a 4. But she wasn't just a 4. She was much more than that. She took up beautiful initiatives. She blossomed so well. as a CAS initiative, she started teaching 5 children from an underprivileged background. And even after 14 years graduating from DP, she's still taking care of them. She's managed to put 2 of them through universities. And then one of them has got a scholarship to go to US. And this is Kairos. Kairos is all about engagement. Kairos is about not just about timing. Timing will always be there, but through right actions, you can bring the time. You can put things together. And if you're truly engaging with yourself, your own moral compass, your ethics, your values, who do you wish to be in life, your passion and purpose, you can make every moment a Kairos moment. So wishing Bachupally Kairos not just today, but for every single day. Thank you.
That was such a heartfelt speech. Thank you for sharing that with us today. We truly appreciate the effort and dedication that has gone into making this. We would now like to present an introduction video.
Welcome to Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Every event begins with a vision, and every vision needs someone who believes in it completely. Let's now welcome our organizers to share their reflections on this year's theme and the journey behind making this event come to life.
Good morning, everyone. So, every event, every TEDx starts with just a small thought. And today's event is a proof of that.
I'm Shrinika.
I am Purvika, and we are the organizers of this event. Standing here right now, it feels like a dream coming true. That the dream that's built on ideas, mountains of to-do lists, and a late night sessions. But today isn't really about us. It's about ideas. It's about how they can shape our perspectives. It's about that uncomfortable idea that makes us curious, that makes us move.
And our theme this year is Kairos, an ancient Greek word that means the right or opportune moment. You know, when you reach the bus stop just as the bus arrives, or when you see something smart in class and now everyone thinks you're a genius, that's Kairos. It's the timing, luck, and maybe a little bit of chaos all showing up at once. And honestly, for us, this day feels exactly the same.
It's truly hard to believe that 5 months ago, TEDxOakridgeBachupally was just an idea. It was an application for license waiting for approval. But today, here we are with lights, cameras, microphones, and an audience that feels too good to be real. It's funny how something like this started with just a Notion checklist, and now, today it's an exciting event. And TEDx, at its core, is built on that type of ideas. Because ideas, no matter how brilliant they always need the right moment to make the right impact.
They need the right people in the right space willing to listen and imagine, and that's what today is all about. A convergence of stories, ideas, and timing. Every speaker you'll hear today has lived a version of Kairos, have had moments in their life that demanded courage, patience, and self-belief. And maybe somewhere in these talks, you'll find your own Kairos. So, as we begin, just immerse yourself in the moment, laugh, question, clap way too loud, and let the energy of today move you in its own way. So once again, on behalf of the whole team, welcome to TEDxOakridgeBachupally 2025 Kairos.
We truly appreciate the effort and dedication that has gone into making this event meaningful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now that we've set the stage, it's time for the heart of our event, our speakers.
Each one of our speakers will share their own Kairos, that one moment that changed everything for them.
So sit back, open your minds, and let's begin our journey through ideas worth spreading. Kicking things off with a young visionary who has truly proved that age is no limit to ambition. Himant Naidu. Himant is a 14-year-old student at Oakridge International School and currently serves as the Deputy Prefect Council Head.
He's an ambitious young leader with a big vision for the future. He's deeply passionate about innovation and sustainability. Driven by this passion, he founded an agri-based startup that focuses on developing practical, eco-friendly solutions, from sustainable fertilizers to environmentally conscious alternatives such as eco-friendly cigarettes.
Every step he takes reflects his commitment to growth and to becoming the best version of himself. Please join us in giving a huge round of applause for Himant Naidu. All the best.
Good morning, everyone. To all the audience present today, I'd like to ask you a small question. How many of you have ever wanted to do something big but haven't? Almost all of us in the room, right? Well, you see that right there is procrastination, the silent killer of dreams. My name is Himant Naidu, and today I want to talk about something which we all crave but rarely understand, which is the right moment, or as the professionals call it, Kairos, and I will show you how it changed me. You see, I'm just 14 years old, yet I already have a startup. Not a small school project, but the real deal. Now, before you think this kid is just procrastinating or being too money-minded for his age, let's be honest. I didn't start Viagra for societal approval. Instead, I made Viagra so I could create real wealth and value for myself. Now, yes, that may sound wrong or even concerning, but if you ask a lot of successful people why they started, deep down it's the same reason. But here's the difference. I didn't want to earn my money out of betrayal. I wanted to earn it in a way which actually helped others. So instead of asking myself, how do I get rich? I asked myself, how do I get rich honestly? And that single question, that single thought sparked Viagra into the world of startup. Now, let's face it, the start is always exciting. It's amazing, you're motivated, and you feel almost like a superhero. But here's the thing people don't tell you. Motivation doesn't last forever. There are days when it feels like it never even existed. And I've had those too. There were times when I used to look at my product and think, is it even going anywhere? Or worst, did I just waste all of my time? But just when I was at my lowest, 3 people kept me alive. Arjun, Manveet and Manideep. These 3 people weren't just my friends. They were my power source. Each time I fell down, they brought me back up and reminded me why I started. Without them, Viagra would have just been another cool idea that died too soon. Now, let's talk about failures because, oh boy, we've had a lot. This is one time where we thought the product was done, like completely done, our research completed, our suffering ending, and everything's finally over. But then we realized we forgot to check one crucial question. Whether something like our product already existed. And guess what? The world already had something close to what we had built. But fortunately, my friend Manveet changed the concept of the product and made it better than before. And then there was another time where we tested the wrong samples, wrong labels, and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But guess what? That moment didn't destroy us. Instead, it built us. Because when we started our journey, we remembered that it was filled with a lot of failures. So we, instead of looking at failure as the opposite of success, we considered it to be a part of it. Now, I have a small question for you guys. How many of you are waiting for the perfect moment to, let's say, start a YouTube channel, a project, or even a business? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the perfect moment which you are waiting for does not exist. Because Kairos only shows up once you have started. Now, to make it easy for you to understand, think about this. You're trying to catch a train, and that train is Kairos. Now, if you're sitting at your home, you possibly cannot catch the train unless you make the first step, right? Well, there's Kairos. Now, from what I've said, you have only understood half of what Kairos means. Well, for me, Kairos isn't about luck. Neither is it the moment when the stars align and the angels sing. But in fact, for me, Kairos is the moment when all of your hard work, effort, preparation, and discipline all meet up at the right place and time. And when you realize that Kairos wasn't waiting for you, it was waiting for you to be ready. And when you realize that Kairos is made, not found. Now, after the speech ends, I want you to think about what's that one thing which you've always been thinking and saying, I'll do it some other day or later. Well, whatever it is, I want you to start working on it today. Because the more you wait, the further your dreams drift away. Now, look around you guys. Every single person in this room has a lot of potential, a lot of ideas that could actually change everyone's lives. But the only thing is that these people aren't taking the first step. These people aren't moving. So I don't want you to be like them. I want you all to start moving. I don't want you to be like them. I want you to take the first step, because the world only realizes you once you have done that. Now, at the end of the day, I want you to remember one thing. If I can do it, what's stopping you? Thank you. Himant Naidu out.
Thank you so much, Himavant. That was honestly so inspiring. Hearing someone our age speak with such passion and purpose really makes us believe that anything's possible if you care enough to start.
The way you've turned your ideas into something real, something that genuinely makes a difference, is just incredible. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. We can't wait to see where your ideas take you next.
We would now like to invite Miss Nandini Mathur from Early Years on stage to felicitate our speaker. Our next speaker is Miss Priyanka Sarkar, who began her career as a physiotherapist and now works as a sports psychologist, helping young athletes develop mental strength and focus.
With 6 years of experience across many sports, she also hosts podcasts and initiatives to raise awareness about mental health.
Today, Ms. Sarkar will share her journey and insights on Kairos, the timely moment when opportunity meets readiness. Please welcome her on stage with a round of applause.
You know, I told my mom, Ami, I was invited to speak at a TEDx event. She looked at me and said, what will you speak? You're clueless yourself. But she did sponsor this clothing anyways. And oh boy, as I look at this crowd, this spirited, I don't know what to decide, whether I should inspire you or dramatically faint so we can all go home early. However, I want to take a few steps back. Don't panic, I'm not fainting, I meant mentally. I was 13 when my dad got me my first chronograph watch. It was from Titan. I loved it for 3 reasons. It was my first premium watch, it complemented my wrist, and not even my teachers had something that fancy. Boy, I felt like the CEO of 8th grade. A year later, my dad replaced the leather strap with a steel strap. I hated it. I had to wear it anyway. To my heart's inner satisfaction, one day I lost the watch. I was relieved, but I was also very happy thinking I would get another watch. But my dad didn't think so. He was very furious. And we all know how it goes when our dads get furious. I cried, not because my dad was angry, but because I was not getting another watch. Amid the rolling tears, in my teenage voice, I said, I declared, I'll not wear another watch until I buy my own. For the next 13 years, I did not wear a watch. My dad forgot the promise, but I didn't, because teenagers, they have 2 skills. We hold grudges and we make promises nobody else cares about. Over the years, I never wore a watch. Never, not even once. My dad did buy me a couple of watches, but never did I wear a watch. Years later, when I got my first job, I saw a simple watch in a small shop one afternoon. I bought it. It wasn't Titan, but it was still mine. I still wear it, not because it tells time, but it reminds me of that teenager's resolve. Over the years, I've brought many branded watches, but I wear this watch to every important commitment in my life, to remind myself of the promise to my journey, that every goal begins with not what you want, but why you want it. And today, that is what I want to talk to you about, goal setting. It is not about what you achieve, but what you become along the way. But why set goals? We often think as goals as targets, marks to hit, medals to win, and grades to earn. But goals are not just targets, they're mirrors. They reflect not just our journey, but who we have become along the way. So why still set goals? Goals help us face reality. Goals confront our strengths and our limitations as well. At 13, my goal came from pride. I wanted to show off. But at 26, it came from purpose. I wanted to own it. The difference, you ask, is the distance between illusion and awareness. Secondly, you should set goals because they reveal your values. What you aim for is what you believe in. Goals that align with your values feel lighter even when they are heavy. But goals, when built in comparison, feel harder even when you win. So the next time you have to set a goal, ask yourself, is it coming from the world's noise or your inner heart? Goals call for self-evaluation. The best part of setting goals is not the result, it's the reflection. When you achieve something that truly matters, applause do not matter. The inner peace becomes your validation. So how do we set goals? You all must have heard of SMART goals, but the future is about soulful goals. Goals that you own them, the goals that are self-owned. The world does not own them, but you dictate your own goals. Goals that are attainable, which means that align with your values, your beliefs, and your ethics. Third, how to set goals. You have to set sustainable goals. Goals that do not burn you, but that build you up. You know, as a sports psychologist, as part of my work, I always tell my players, write down 3 goals for the next 3, 6, and 9 months. Most of the times the answer is, but Priyanka, I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. You're talking about 3 months, 6 months, and even 9 months. And I say that's a problem because goal is not a routine, it's a decision. So the next time you want to set a goal, ask yourself just 3 questions. Why does this matter to me? What are the obstacles that I might come across? And what are the strengths I need to gather to achieve this goal? Because the goal you set today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Not by what you achieve, but by what you discover along the way. This 600 small watch sits on me even today. It's been 17 years. It just doesn't measure time or growth. It measures my promise to my growth because goals are connected to time and no time is the same. There are 2 types of times, Chronos and Kairos. Chronos is the ticking schedules, ticking seconds and deadlines. Kairos, the right moment when timing meets your opportunity. And so the next time you want to set a goal, do not set it because the world is rushing you, but ask yourself, are you ready? And when I ask you this, I want you to remember, do not give in to the world's noise, but ask yourself, are you ready to set the goal? Because for every powerful goal, there is a moment of Kairos when the world stops rushing and your purpose finally catches up. So if you ever feel behind in life, do not panic because your time will stop for you to arrive at your why. And that day, it's not the world's chaos that matters, but the inner peace that validates your readiness. And I'll leave you with one parting thought. No matter what the night has handed you with, as long as you wake up every morning, you're already a mile closer to your goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarkar, for sharing your inspiring journey and the valuable insights you bring from your work with young athletes. Your dedication to building mental strength and resilience is truly remarkable.
You've reminded us all how important it is to recognize the moments when we're ready to grow and to take action when opportunity arises. That message is something we can carry long after today.
We would now like to invite Ms. Priyadarshini Ballavarams to felicitate our speaker, Ms. Priyanka Sarkar.
We would now like to hand over the mics to the event management team for an interactive workshop.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the origami workshop. After reflecting on your Kairos moments, this activity is meant to help you slow down, focus, and create something with your hands. Because just like a Kairos movement, origami also transforms a simple sheet of paper into something meaningful with just a few folds. You all have been divided into 2 slots. One group will attend the workshop first and then go for the break. The other group will take the break first and come in for the workshop. Volunteers will guide you.
In the workshop, you'll be learning how to make 4 origamis: a crane, a butterfly, a jewel box, and a lotus. All instructions are already displayed in the room, and volunteers will be there to help you fold step by step. There's no need to be perfect. Origami is all about patience, calmness, and enjoying the process. Each fold you make is a small moment of attention, just like the small moments we explored in Kairos.
Once your slot finishes the workshop, you'll move out for your break, and the other slot will and the other group will come in for their workshop. Now, can everyone in Group A raise their sticky notes in the air, please? Group A. Can you have house lights on, please? All right. Group A. Guys, look in your tote bags. You should have received papers with your group names written on them. Everyone in Group A. Now, can the volunteers please guide everyone in Group A to the origami workshop room? Volunteers, please guide everyone in Group A to the origami workshop room. Group B, please stay here for another 5 minutes until Group A is settled. Can Group A please stand up? Yeah. Okay. Volunteers, can you guide Group A to the origami room, please?
Story which we all have experienced, that those fleeting moments when everything seems to align.
What if the right moment isn't something we wait for, but something we feel? That split second when courage takes over, when everything you've been searching for suddenly starts to make sense. That's what our next speaker calls Kairos.
She's a creator in every sense. From co-authoring a book to building her own sustainable clothing brand, she turns imagination into impact and comfort into curiosity.
A dancer, runner, artist, and musician, she finds creativity in every movement. For her, Kairos is that rare stillness where creativity meets courage and everything changes. Please welcome Gia Kapoor.
Wake up. Wake up. Hello? Hello? It's working? Wake up, scroll, sleep, repeat. By the time Wake up, scroll, sleep, repeat. By the time I looked up from my phone, the day was already over. That is what most of our lives look like. A loop disguised as living. Days blend into one another until we can't tell if we're moving forward or just going in circles. We keep searching for something more, something that feels meaningful, something that makes us feel alive. We all chase it, the moment that feels perfect, the moment where we feel ready, but that moment never comes. And it took one small, reckless decision for me to realize that it never would. My story began in a year that felt like a string of failures, a time when absolutely nothing seemed to go right. And maybe you faced a time just like that, the kind where your life falls apart piece by piece, and you're just standing there watching it happen. That's what this year was to me, a turmoil of failure, a year that tested everything I thought I knew about myself. See, growing up, I was that student, not the smartest one in the room, but smart enough for people to expect things from me. Teachers trusted me, friends looked up to me, and people told me I was going places, and I believed them because I wanted to live up to the expectations they had set for me. After all, who doesn't? Until the pressure caught up to me. My first pre-boards took a toll on my mental health, and then I lost the most important person in my life. When that happened, I did what most of us do. Pretended I was fine. But loss doesn't care about your exams or your deadlines. Slowly, friends drifted away. And in the midst of high school drama, the people that I thought would never leave, left. By the time I finished writing my boards, I was standing in a place that had once felt like home, but it didn't anymore. The same classrooms where I had made my best memories now felt foreign. And from there, it was like a domino effect. One test gone wrong, one friendship failed, one move changed everything. I felt utterly useless. Every test gone wrong felt like I was the problem. Every migraine, every sleepless night, all of them were all just proof that I wasn't enough. And slowly, I started chasing noise just so I didn't have to sit in silence with myself. And the noise disguised itself as purpose. Grades, to-do lists, the next big achievement, the next person who'll make it all feel worth it. And here's the irony. The harder I tried to keep everything together, the faster it slipped away. Because no one teaches you what to do when you lose the people you thought you'd have forever, or when the things that once defined you start to mean nothing. So I kept running, not towards something, but away from the silence that follows. Until I wrote the SAT. A test that was supposed to be a milestone became my breaking point. Halfway through the exam, my heart started racing, my hands shook uncontrollably, and my mind just went blank. I couldn't do it. By the time I got home, I couldn't stop crying. Not because of the exam, but because for the first time, I realized I wasn't in control. My legs gave out when I tried to stand. My chest tightened, my vision blurred. It felt like the world was ending, and I couldn't remember how to breathe. I didn't know it was a panic attack. All I knew was that the weight I'd been carrying had finally crushed me. That evening, after the panic subsided, I faced myself in the mirror. Staring back was a stranger, hollow-eyed, tense, and unrecognizable. So I grabbed a pair of scissors. It took 15 years to grow my hair out, and only 10 seconds to cut it off. For context, this is what I looked like before, and this is what I look like now. As the strands fell to the floor, so did the weight I'd been carrying. My fear of failure, my constant need to feel enough, my obsession with control. That day, cutting my hair wasn't about the hair. It was a moment of release, my moment of Kairos. But what even is Kairos? Kairos is one of those rare, powerful moments that carry meaning beyond time. It is a moment of alignment, and every one of us, every single person in this room has one. For some, it's hitting send on an application you weren't sure you were good enough for. For some, it's when what you've been studying for hours finally makes sense. Or even when your coffee to sugar ratio is finally miraculously perfect. Strange example, isn't it? Am I really here to talk about coffee to sugar ratios? Of course not. I'm here to talk about those rare, fleeting moments when everything, no matter how big or small, has a lasting impact. Those moments where it feels like the universe, for once, is breathing in sync with you. That is what Kairos feels like. When I first heard about Kairos, my first question was, can this occur more than once? It's a moment of alignment, so it can't possibly be a regular occurrence. But Kairos isn't a single grand event. It's every moment when time, emotion, and action align perfectly. When something shifts inside you, and you know it's time to act, change, or decide. To help you understand this, I'll introduce you to two Greek terms, chronos and kairos. Chronos is the clock, seconds, minutes, deadlines. Kairos is the moment, purpose, presence, alignment. And we live so much in chronos that we forget to make room for kairos. We fill every pause, every break, every silence, and then wonder why we can't hear ourselves anymore. Our daily actions are influenced by hustle culture. And some of you may not realize what that means, but believe me, you've all felt it, because it saturates every corner of our world. The endless reels we scroll through online, the relentless chatter at school or work, and even the unspoken pressure to keep grinding. How many of us tell each other we need to lock in? I know I do, and so do most of you. That is because we live in constant motion, always trying to achieve something, never grateful for what we have, but always chasing the next thing. And the world applauds that. Until you crash, burn out, or realize you've been living by someone else's definition of success. We live in a world that glorifies motion, where slowing down feels like failure. So we hustle, we grind, and we fill every empty moment just to prove we're moving. But when you're constantly running on autopilot, chasing the next deadline or dopamine hit, your mind and body eventually start to fight back. And that's exactly what happened to me. That's where the facade shatters and you realize you can't outrun yourself. In psychology, there's a term called cognitive dissonance. It's when what you do doesn't match what you believe. And your brain hates it. It starts sending signals of discomfort, anxiety, guilt, exhaustion to force alignment. That's what my panic attack really was. It was my body saying, you've ignored me long enough. And I think many of us do that. We confuse endurance with strength. We wear stress like a badge of honor and we call burnout ambition. Our daily conversations have become competitions over who slept the least, as if exhaustion somehow proves that we're moving, that we're doing something, that we're working harder. And that precisely is cognitive dissonance at play. Deep down, we know this isn't healthy, but we've trained ourselves to believe that struggle equals success. So when our sleepless nights, skipped meals, and constant stress don't match what we know is right, our brain rewrites the story. It convinces us that burnout is ambition, and we're simply not trying hard enough. But Kairos? Kairos happens when you're fully awake to life and ready to respond. Your moment of alignment will come, not when you're looking for it, but when you start living with awareness instead of fear. Because awareness is where we find our true selves. Awareness is where I found myself. After my moment of Kairos, nothing magically changed. I just started saying yes to things I would have overthought before. I agreed to co-write a book titled Design Thinking in AI, despite having no experience whatsoever in AI, trusting that my knowledge of design thinking would bring value to the book. I showed up for a business competition I didn't even realize required a selection interview, and still got in, won first place, and secured an internship. I applied for TEDx as well because I figured what's the harm in trying? And somewhere between the drafts, the losses, and the panic, I found myself playing basketball, the same sport I had quit years ago. I am terrible at it, by the way, but for once it wasn't about winning. It was about doing something I love. There's a quote I love: life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. I didn't understand the meaning of it until I looked back and realized how many moments I had dismissed just because they didn't fit my plan. Think about it. How many of your best moments were unplanned? Life doesn't wait for your perfect schedule. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. And the sooner we accept that and move forward in life with courage, the more life rewards us. Maybe you haven't found your Kairos yet. Or maybe deep down you already have, but you haven't acknowledged it for what it is. Maybe it's that gut feeling you keep ignoring. The idea that you're too scared to start, the habit that you know you need to break. And just like everything else in life, you will find your Kairos, not when you're looking for it, but when you've accepted your realities and decided to continue forward. When I look back at that night, I don't think about fear anymore. I think about that silence, that strange, peaceful pause after the noise ended. Because that's what Kairos felt like. Not fireworks, not revelation, just peace. That is what Kairos really is. It isn't about change arriving suddenly, but rather about us finally stopping to face what was already there. So let me leave you with this. What if Kairos isn't about change finding you, but about you finally paying attention? You don't need a plan. You just need to be present. Kairos was never something to wait for. It unfolds the moment you stop searching and start truly living. Thank you.
Thank you, Gia. That was honestly so beautiful. I think we all felt that moment when her words just hit, right?
Exactly. It's so easy to rush through life waiting for the right time. But Gia made us realize that the moment we choose to be present, that's when everything starts to align.
And maybe that's what Kairos really is. Not waiting for life to happen, but finding courage in the now. Thank you, Gia, for giving us that perspective. We would now like to invite Ms. Lavanya Chittampalli on stage to felicitate our speaker, Gia Kapoor. Sometimes the most brilliant ideas come from the most unexpected places, like a cat stuck in the ceiling, plotting its next escape and reminding us that even when the highest obstacles can't stop a determined mind or a determined feeling.
Next, we present Angela Lee Duckworth's Grit, a powerful reminder that the right moment often belongs to those who persevere.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. So, you know, you get started maybe a little slowly, but you get enough done in the first week that with some heavier days later on, everything gets done and things stay civil. And I would want to do that like that. That would be the plan. I would have it all ready to go, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this. And that would happen every single paper. But then came my 90-page senior thesis, a paper you're supposed to spend a year on. And I knew for a paper like that, my normal workflow was not an option. It was way too big a project. So I planned things out, and I decided I kind of had to go something like this. This is how the year would go. So I'd start off light, and I'd bump it up in the middle months. And then at the end, I would kick it up into high gear. It's just like a little staircase. How hard could it be? Just walk up the stairs. No big deal, right? But then, funniest thing happened. Those first few months, they came and went, and I couldn't quite do stuff. So we had an awesome new revised plan. And then, but then those middle months actually went by, and I didn't really write words. And so we were here. And then 2 months turned into 1 month, which turned into 2 weeks. And one day I woke up with 3 days until the deadline, still not having written a word. And so I did the only thing I could. I wrote 90 pages over 72 hours, pulling not one but 2 all-nighters. Humans are not supposed to pull 2 all-nighters. Sprinted across campus, dove in slow motion, and got it in just at the deadline. I thought that was the end of everything. But a week later, I get a call, and it's the school. And they say, "Is this Tim Urban?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "We need to talk about your thesis." And I say, "Okay." And they say, "It's the best one we've ever seen." That did not happen. It was a very, very bad thesis. I just wanted to enjoy that one moment when all of you thought, "This guy is amazing." No, it was very, very bad. Anyway, today I'm a writer, blogger guy. I write the blog Wait, But Why? And a couple of years ago, I decided to write about procrastination. My behavior has always perplexed the non-procrastinators around me, and I wanted to explain to the non-procrastinators of the world what goes on in the heads of procrastinators and why we are the way we are. Now, I had a hypothesis that the brains of procrastinators were actually different than the brains of other people. And to test this, I found an MRI lab that actually let me scan both my brain and the brain of a proven non-procrastinator, so I could compare them, and I actually brought them here to show you today, and I want you to take a look carefully to see if you can notice a difference. And I know that if you're not a trained brain expert, it's not that obvious, but just take a look, okay? So here's the brain of a non-procrastinator. Now, here's my brain. There is a difference. Both brains have a rational decision maker in them, but the procrastinator's brain also has an instant gratification monkey. Now, what does this mean for the procrastinator? Well, it means everything's fine until this happens. So the rational decision maker will make the rational decision to do something productive, but the monkey doesn't like that plan. So he actually takes the wheel, and he says, "Actually, let's read the entire Wikipedia page of the Nancy Kerrigan-Tanya Harding scandal, because I just remembered that happened." Then we're going to go over to the fridge. We're going to see if there's anything new in there since 10 minutes ago. After that, we're going to go on a YouTube spiral that starts with videos of Richard Feynman talking about magnets and ends much, much later with us watching interviews with Justin Bieber's mom. All of that's going to take a while, so we're not going to really have room on the schedule for any work today. Sorry. Now, what is going on here? The instant gratification monkey does not seem like a guy you want behind the wheel. He lives entirely in the present moment. He has no memory of the past, no knowledge of the future, and he only cares about two things: easy and fun. Now, in the animal world, that works fine. If you're a dog and you spend your whole life doing nothing other than easy and fun things, you're a huge success. And to the monkey, humans are just another animal species. He has to keep well slept, well fed, and propagating into the next generation, which in tribal times might have worked okay. But if you haven't noticed, now we're not in tribal times. We're in an advanced civilization, and the monkey does not know what that is, which is why we have another guy in our brain, the rational decision maker, who gives us the ability to do things no other animal can do. We can visualize the future. We can see the big picture. We can make long-term plans. And he wants to take all of that into account, and he wants to just have us do whatever makes sense to be doing right now. Now, sometimes it makes sense to be doing things that are easy and fun, like when you're having dinner or going to bed or enjoying well-earned leisure time. That's why there's an overlap. Sometimes they agree. But other times, it makes much more sense to be doing things that are harder and less pleasant for the sake of the big picture, and that's when we have a conflict. And for the procrastinator, that conflict tends to end a certain way every time, leaving him spending a lot of time in this orange zone, an easy and fun place that's entirely out of the make sense circle. I call it the dark playground. Now, the dark playground is a place that all of you procrastinators out there know very well. It's where leisure activities happen at times when leisure activities are not supposed to be happening. The fun you have in the dark playground isn't actually fun because it's completely unearned, and the air is filled with guilt, dread, anxiety, self-hatred, all those good procrastinator feelings. And the question is, in this situation, with the monkey behind the wheel, how does the procrastinator ever get himself over here to this blue zone? A less pleasant place, but where really important things happen. Well, turns out that the procrastinator has a guardian angel, someone who's always looking down on him and watching over him in his darkest moments, someone called the panic monster. Now, the panic monster is dormant most of the time, but he suddenly wakes up anytime a deadline gets too close or there's danger of public embarrassment, a career disaster, or some other scary consequence. And importantly, he's the only thing that the monkey is terrified of. Now, he became very relevant in my life pretty recently because the people of TED reached out to me about 6 months ago and invited me to do a TED Talk. Now, of course, I said yes. It's always been a dream of mine to have done a TED Talk in the past. But in the middle of all this excitement, the rational decision maker seemed to have something else in his mind. He was saying, are we clear on what we just accepted? Do we get what's going to be now happening one day in the future? We need to sit down and work on this right now. And the monkey said, totally agree, but also let's just open Google Earth and let's zoom into the bottom of India, like 200 feet above the ground, and we're going to scroll up for 2.5 hours till we get to the top of the country so we can get a better feel for India. So that's what we did that day. As 6 months turned into 4, and then 2, and then 1, the people of TED decided to release the speakers. And I opened up the website, and there was my face staring right back at me, and guess who woke up? So the panic monster starts losing his mind, and a few seconds later, the whole system's in mayhem. And the monkey, who, remember, he's terrified of the panic monster, boom, he's up the tree. And finally, the rational decision maker can take the wheel and I can start working on the talk. Now, the panic monster explains all kinds of pretty insane procrastinating behavior, like how someone like me could spend 2 weeks unable to start the opening sentence of a paper, and then miraculously find the unbelievable work ethic to stay up all night and write 8 pages. And this entire situation with the 3 characters, this is the procrastinator's system. It's not pretty, but in the end, it works. And this is what I decided to write about on the blog just a couple years ago. Now, when I did, I was amazed by the response. Literally thousands of emails came in from all different kinds of people, from all over the world, doing all different kinds of things. These were people who were nurses and bankers and painters and engineers and lots of PhD students. And they were all writing saying the same thing. I have this problem too. But what struck me was the contrast between the light tone of the post and the heaviness of these emails. These people were writing with intense frustration about what procrastination had done to their lives, about what this monkey had done to them. And I thought about this, and I said, well, if the procrastinator system works, then what's going on? Why are all these people in such a dark place? Well, turns out that there's 2 kinds of procrastination. Everything I've talked about today, the examples I've given, they all have deadlines. And when there's deadlines, the effects of procrastination are contained to the short term because the panic monster gets involved. But there's a second kind of procrastination that happens in situations when there is no deadline. So if you want to have a career where you want to be a self-starter, something in the arts, something entrepreneurial, there's no deadlines on those things at first because nothing's happening at first, not until you've gone out and done the hard work to get some momentum, to get things going. There's also all kinds of important things outside of your career that don't involve any deadlines, like seeing your family or exercising and taking care of your health, working on your relationship or getting out of a relationship that isn't working. Now, if the procrastinator's only mechanism of doing these hard things is the panic monster, that's a problem because in all of these non-deadline situations, the panic monster doesn't show up. He has nothing to wake up for. So the effects of procrastination, they're not contained. They just extend outward forever. And it's this long-term kind of procrastination that's much less visible and much less talked about than the funnier, short-term, deadline-based kind. It's usually suffered quietly and privately, and it can be the source of a huge amount of long-term unhappiness and regrets. And I thought, that's why these people are emailing, and that's why they're in such a bad place. It's not that they're cramming for some project. It's that long-term procrastination has made them feel like a spectator at times in their own lives. The frustration was not that they couldn't achieve their dreams, it's that they weren't even able to start chasing them. So I read these emails and I had a little bit of an epiphany that I don't think non-procrastinators exist. That's right, I think all of you are procrastinators. Now, you might not all be a mess, like some of us. And some of you may have a healthy relationship with deadlines. But remember, the monkey's sneakiest trick is when the deadlines aren't there. Now, I want to show you one last thing. I call this a life calendar. That's 1 box for every week of a 90-year life. That's not that many boxes, especially since we've already used a bunch of those. So I think we need to all take a long, hard look at that calendar. And we need to think about what we're really procrastinating on, because everyone is procrastinating on something in life. We need to stay aware of the instant gratification monkey. That's a job for all of us. And because there's not that many boxes on there, it's a job that should probably start today. Well, maybe not today, but sometime soon. Thank you.
This is a gentle reminder to please make sure that your phones are on silent.
They say dance is a universal form of expression. It tells stories that words often can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our dancers who are here to showcase their talent.
Que el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper. Toda mi gente se mueve, mira el ritmo como lo tiene. La música que tú tienes, mi música lo tiene fuerte, bailando y se baila así.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Wow, that was absolutely breathtaking. The energy and precision in every move was just incredible.
Absolutely. It wasn't just a dance. It felt like a story told through rhythm. Let's give it up once again for our performers who truly lit up the stage. You know that one friend who's always lost in thought, but somehow finds to manage finding magic in it? Our next speaker, Shikriti Kohli, has a perspective that every one of us has felt, but probably rarely talk about. She's someone who finds meaning in the smallest moments, someone who looks at life a little differently than most.
She's a thinker who's always questioning and somehow always full of energy. probably thanks to a little too much candy. Her talk today comes from a place of deep reflection.
A lover of mythology, she believes that inspiration can come from the most unexpected places.
So get ready to slow down, think, and maybe even see the familiar in a completely new light. Please join us in welcoming our new TEDx speaker,
Shikriti Kohli.
Hello? Hello? Everyone has their first memory of achieving something. Maybe winning an award or doing something really cool for the first time. I grew up surrounded by overachievers. They achieved so much that I could barely understand the extent of it. And me? I was just average. Hello everyone, I'm Shikriti Kohli. For me, my first ever memory of achieving anything was when I was around 5 years old. It was my first ever dance competition and I'd been preparing for weeks. And when I went on that stage, I never felt more alive. In the end, I got second place. I remember laughing and celebrating with my family. And then, I even went to school the next day and flaunted my trophy around. But there was a small detail that only me and my family knew. I didn't get second place in a competition with just 2 people. Then, fast forward 8 years, and even when I did truly achieve things, I still didn't think it was enough. I didn't think it was worth it. Maybe if this same story happened today, I wouldn't dare tell a soul. When we're kids, we grow up celebrating every little win, like the first steps or your first words. But as we grow up, our achievements lie in the shadows of the achievements of the people around us. When we go from this constant celebration to this constant comparison, we tend to lose sight of what matters the most. We get caught up in the cycle of constantly displaying our worth to others. Remember the word I said in the beginning? Average? Well, that's how I felt my entire life, especially with school. So I constantly try and give my 100%. That maybe one day I could achieve something big as well. But like I said, I grew up with overachievers and I had the biggest one right in my house. I remember it was 5th grade Olympiad results day and I opened my score. I got a 3rd place overall in my grade for science. Good, right? And then my brother opened his math score. And guess what? 2nd overall in the whole entire world. And that's how my achievement fell in the shadows. The thing with growing up with overachievers and just being average is you're conditioned to not celebrate your wins because you feel like everyone around you is judging you. I, however, was privileged enough for my family to never compare me. For the people close to me, truly understanding me, but me, internally, I wanted that same reaction. I wanted to be better, and that put me on edge. See, these overachievers were not the villains of my story. In fact, they inspired me. But healthy inspiration would be a slight push in the right direction. But for me, I felt like I was shoved off a cliff. And after constantly just seeing average results, I started losing hope. I thought, whatever I did, I wouldn't matter. However hard I worked, nothing worked out for me. So I started questioning the purpose of everything I did. What was the purpose of life? What was my purpose in life? Where did I fit into society? That
constantly just asking if there was greater purpose in everything I did. If I didn't find it, I didn't do it. I lost all my just cause moments. I started mindlessly operating in a cycle of what I thought society expected of me. This is what the ancient Greeks would refer to as Kairos. I thought if I just did what people expected of me or what they wanted, then they'd like me more. That's the thing. But that wasn't, for a split second it did work. People did like me more and they did seek my company. In fact, they enjoyed my company. But for some reason I wasn't satisfied. I felt zero sense of contentment. That's when I took a step back and looked in the mirror. And I saw a person I hardly even recognized staring back at me. I'd given everything that made me me. I'd given it up. I let my insecurities cloud my judgment. No, I no longer wanted people's validation. I simply just wanted to be myself again. Like how Kairos is the ancient Greek concept of qualitative time or the right moment, there's another ancient Greek concept of pattern, Kairos. We all live in a Kairos world where we mindlessly operate in a cycle. I was stuck in the cycle of comparison, of competition, and constant seeking. I seek the validation of others so badly that I didn't even know what I wanted. I grew up watching Disney movies. I was obsessed with them. I thought that one day, magically, everything would change. One day, my routine would break, and that I would have my moment. But unlike the movies, Kairos doesn't occur magically by the wave of fairy godmother's wand or by the appearance of Prince Charming. In reality, Kairos is within all of us, and it's waiting to be unlocked the second we take our first intentional breath. Now you see, unlike the movies, Kairos isn't that one magical moment that changes everything. It's the constant transition that occurs when you choose to live and not simply exist. It's when you genuinely seek experiences and put yourself out there. Most of us just do what we're told. When I told myself I was average, I only did what I was told, nothing more, maybe less. But we get stuck in that Kairos loop. When I took a step back and I realized what I was doing, what I was actually doing, a whole new world opened up to me. That's the same reason why I have the privilege to stand here today. I might not be anything special, but I'm just grateful in this day and age to be alive, truly alive. I'd like to think of Kairos as not just one moment in time, but a presence. But a presence that weaves around you and shapes your perception of time. It makes every second worth experiencing. It enhances every moment. When I was 5 on that stage, I didn't care for winning. I was doing something I loved. I was dancing. I was present. I was alive. Back then I didn't know it, but I already had Kairos. And the rest of my journey has been finding that Kairos again. Finding that feeling again, not on a stage, but in the quiet, little, everyday moments. Because that's what life is, isn't it? Those quiet, everyday moments. We don't live in a Kairos world, in a Kairos world. It's not about how many achievements you have or how great they are. It's about those little, everyday moments, the just causes, the sweet nothings. That is what makes us alive. That is Kairos. And personally, I don't even know when my Kairos started again. But what I do know is it might have been during maybe my locks of wonder, or who knows, maybe even my sleep. But something I know is that it doesn't have to be that big flashy moment where everything falls into place. It can just be that constant force that pushes you to wake up every single day and live. It's that trade-off between that Kairos cycle for that Kairos moments of being. And how do we do that, you might ask? Well, writer Robert J. Hastings has clear instructions. So stop pacing the aisles and counting the miles. Instead, climb more mountains, eat more ice cream, go barefoot more often, swim more rivers, watch more sunsets, laugh more, cry less. Life must be lived as we go along. The station, that's it. That is what life is. It's go eat more ice cream, go watch sunsets, do whatever your heart desires, because that is Kairos and that is life. Thank you.
Thank you, Shikriti, for sharing such a personal and honest journey with us today. It takes courage to speak about those moments when we question ourselves and feel like we're not good enough.
Your story reminds us that it's okay to pause, reflect, and even feel uncertain. Because in those moments that we often discover what truly matters and what inspires us.
Let's give another round of applause to Shikriti Kohli for sharing her journey and her perspective with us today. I would now like to invite Ms. Harsha Gandhi to felicitate our speaker, Shikriti Kohli.
Before we continue, we kindly request everyone to refrain from photography and videography during the event. But don't worry, our TEDx video and production team will be capturing all the moments for you. And now, it's time for all of us to take a little break, recharge, and enjoy some delicious food.
Lunch is served, so please head out to the cafeteria and make sure to be back in your seats on time as we continue with our next set of speakers and performances.
You will be guided by our volunteers outside. Bon appetit!
Okay. Yeah.
Before we move on to our next speaker, let's take a short break from words and dive into rhythm.
They say music is the language of the soul. It has the power to express emotions that words sometimes can't. And today, we're about to experience that magic firsthand.
Please join us in welcoming our incredibly talented musicians to the stage. Can everyone please maintain silence? Please join us in welcoming our incredibly talented musicians to the stage for a performance that promises to touch hearts and lift spirits through melody and rhythm.
I was a ghost, I was alone, dodging, I feel so gay. Given the throne, I didn't know to believe I was a queen that I meant to be.
I lived two lives, tried to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Called a problem child, cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Left you on stage.
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We're dreaming how we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up with our voices. You could get us to woman, gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be.
Waited so long to break these walls now, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns on the past now, and finally live with the girl they all see. No more hiding, now be shining like I'm born to be. Cause we are hunters, voices strong and I know I'll believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up with our voices. You go get us a woman, gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be.
You know we're gonna be golden. We're gonna be. We're born to be going. But can't oh, it's our time. No fears, no lies. That's who we're born to be. Oh, I'm done hiding now. I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, I wear time, no fears, no lies. That's who we're born to be. You know we're gonna be golden. We're gonna be. We're born to be glowing. Balke kunanarore. Oh, it's our time, no fears, no lies. That's who we're born to be. Oh, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, it's our time, no fears, no lies. That's who we're born to be.
Do you guys need the mics? Yeah. No, she's not there. Not now. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. No, no. Say thank you. Thank you for that truly captivating performance. Every note, every rhythm seemed to tell a story, one that connected us beyond words. Let's give them a huge round of applause. We would now like to hand over the mics to the marketing and communications team for a fun activity.
Good afternoon, attendees. We would now like to have a short round of a Never Have I Ever game where we will ask you questions, and if you feel these prompts are relatable to you, you can flash your phone flashlight or raise your Kairos stickers which have been provided to you in your attendee kit. Alright? Let's start. Never have I ever waited for the perfect moment and the moment left without me. Let me repeat. Never have I ever waited for the perfect moment and the moment left without me. Very less? Okay. Wait, let's wait. I think they've taken the phones out. Alright, that's okay. Relatable.
Never have I ever taken the worst possible moment to speak. Never have I ever taken the worst possible moment to speak. That's cool.
Don't say that. Okay. Never have I ever had a golden opportunity and said later, but then later never came. Do you need me to? Okay, I don't think I need to. Okay, we'll move on. Never reflect on your Kairos moments. Choose one Kairos moment. Reflect on your Kairos moments. Choose one Kairos moment. Yeah, we would like to dim the lights, please, so that you can truly reflect.
We'll give you 5 minutes of the time and then you can reflect back.
And you will be using these Kairos moments for a workshop later on.
Thank you.
You know those people who have the ability to truly transform others? Not just with knowledge, but with heart and insight? Our next speaker is one such person. With over 17 years of experience, she's helped thousands of professionals and teams grow into their best selves.
As the CEO and co-founder of Infinity Learning, she works with some of the world's biggest brands, such as Fujitsu, Accenture, the Federal Bank, and many more, to build teams that are not just skilled, but emotionally confident and intelligent.
Holding a PhD in economics and a passion for authentic leadership, she believes real change happens when we learn to connect with purpose. Today, she'll share her unique perspective on meaningful growth and transformation. Please join us in welcoming
Dr. Rashmi Dub.
Everyone says you must keep growing your mind or having a growth mindset. But what do you do when the world around you is changing more than what your mind is? The thing is that you upgrade a little and then you see that, oh, something new has come, isn't it? So now is the time that we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn, because we are living in the world of AI, isn't it? When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me, "Beta, you can become anything you want." In 2025, parents tell their kids, "You can become anything you want, but please become fast or else AI will become." So that's where this mindset agility ticks in. What happens when the world grows faster than what you think? That is the real challenge, isn't it? These days, jobs change every 2 years. Skills expire every 18 months. And LinkedIn makes people look more successful than they actually are. So how do you deal with all that? Are we not good enough? Are we not doing it? Can we keep up? The problem is that, like over here I've written, that that we have, our mind is slower than the Wi-Fi that we use many a times. The thing is that Google has become our national sport, isn't it? And now not even that. We ask ChatGPT and it will give us answers like that topper in the class who knows everything, and it even knows your next question, including your next questions, isn't it? ChatGPT is able to even flirt better on dating apps than what humans used to do. Now, with all this happening around, somewhere there is a lot of fidgeting going around with our mind. So what we need is mindset agility. When I say mindset agility, any sorts of behavior changes with your habits, with your reactions, with how you are working ahead. For example, if I'm talking about assertiveness, I want to be more assertive. Like, I want to get things done in a way where nobody feels bad. Now, everybody, let me know if you have ever heard or said this statement. Please don't mind, but can I tell you something? If you don't feel otherwise, can I tell you something? The moment you say, please don't mind, please don't feel otherwise, you are giving them a disclaimer that whatever I'm going to say, you might not like it. Isn't it? Yes, no, maybe. So what happens is, how nice it would be if I could speak in a way where I don't need to give this disclaimer, I don't need to wipe what the other person will think about what I'm saying. That is assertiveness. So practice that sort of communication, how I can be myself, how I can be open, say what I actually feel, and the other person understands and comprehends it in the very same way. How simple is that? But how will that happen? That will happen by constant communication, learning how to empathize with people. Now the problem with empathy is sometimes we overdo it, sometimes we don't do it at all. So basically, everybody should be an empath, but be mindful that there are 3 stages of empathy: cognitive, emotional, and compassionate. So cognitive empathy is, oh, something happened, I feel about it. That is cognitive. When you feel a little deeper connection to somebody or some challenge, that becomes an emotional empath. Then you become an emotional empath. And when you not only feel and you not only empathize so much and you put yourself into that person's shoes, you even walk a mile and you take compassionate steps to help the other person. So realize when to do what. Use your mindset agility in that part. Because what we do, we sometimes pour on wrong cups. We sometimes invest our time into wrong people. So we need to have that filter. Team, I want all of you to understand, in your house, we all have a window. Now, if we want sunlight, it is coming through that window. If we want fresh air, it is coming out through that window. But that same window will sometimes bring a foul smell also, will sometimes bring mosquitoes also. So it is up to us to have that filter in our minds, what we should allow inside and what we should not. When I want sunlight, I will open the drapes. When I don't want them, I will close the drapes. When I don't want mosquitoes, I will put the net. When I don't care if they enter, I'll open the net. That same switch you have to have, that will happen when you have self-observation. Now what we can do in this world is, first of all, understand that we feel that they are doing very good. She's in a good job, he's in a good life. But the thing is that people think that growth happens only when life is smooth. But the real growth happens when you get a negative feedback, when your project fails, when your boss rejects your ideas, when you feel you are lost in the career. Only after that, there is an after party in your mind where you understand what is actually happening. Now, many of us say, I never used to do it that way, When I was in college or when I was in charge, I didn't do it that way. But you know what? That is a phrase which has headed down through ages of corporate meetings as well. And nobody is trying to teach old monkeys new tricks. But AI has changed the new order and leaving us with only what humans can do. That is, think creative, adapt fast, and become emotionally intelligent. Isn't it? So you see, mindset agility is not about I don't know this. It is about I don't know this yet. Get it? I don't know this yet. I don't know, I may not know now, but I will know it. I will figure it out. If A can do it, I can do it. If B can do it, well then I can do it again. That's how you're supposed to think. Recently I was, a few months ago, I was taking a training on adaptability, and a very senior person told me that I've been doing this for 20 years. Why do I need to change now? So I told him, your 20 years of experience is phenomenal, but unfortunately the world has changed 40 times ever since. So that is why, and he said, he was quite sincere when he said, fair point. And the day 2 of the meeting, he came and he told me, you know what, last night I asked my kid to teach me how to use GPT. So that is mental agility, when you're ready to take it. Now how you can work on it? First of all, practice reflection. Ask, what is the another way to see this? How else can I see this? Seek discomfort. Nothing grows in comfort zone. So step into unfamiliar projects and technologies. Don't try to be the know-it-all person. Instead, try to be the learn-it-all person. All right? And use feedback loops. Sometimes we are hungry for feedback, but we don't get it at the right time. Be shameless and ask for feedback. I want feedback. leverage as AI as a thinking partner and not a threat. We are supposed to be curious, not furious. Isn't it? And unlearn like it's a detox. There are a lot of habits, there are a lot of old titles, old assumptions. Just let them go like a heavy jewelry piece in your neck. Just remove it and throw it away. Collaborate with technology. Don't compete with it. That is, AI is your intern. All right, it's not going to take your job. Take it as that. Take it as that way. It's just going to help you make work faster in a more efficient way. And keep your ego in an airplane mode. It should always be in an airplane mode. Nothing should affect that aura of yours. How you can work on it is pick a skill and work on it every 15 days. Okay, I'm trying assertiveness. Okay, I'm trying efficient communication. You will shock yourself. Trust me, you all will shock yourself. So the takeaway is that mindset agility is not about predicting the future. It is about staying ready for whatever it is. Bring it on. That is mindset agility. Because in the era of AI, it is not the strongest, it is not the smartest, it is the one who thrives to be mentally agile. So, yes, if I keep learning, I will keep learning even if AI is faster than me. If we stay curious, if we stay collaborative, if we stay courageous, AI won't replace us. It will indeed raise us. So next time, when life or technology or updates, anything comes overnight, don't freeze, just smile, stretch your thinking a bit and say, challenge accepted. So take this talk as your mindset agility program is just here to install. Click install to reboot it. Just do that right now and start over. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi Dub, for sharing your inspiring journey and deep insights with us today.
Your approach shows the incredible results that come from leading with honesty, empathy, and purpose.
Let's all take this wisdom forward, embracing the moments that call us to grow and lead with intention.
Please join us in giving a warm round of applause for her. We would now like to invite Ms. Shalini Singhal to felicitate our speaker, Dr. Rashmi Dub.
As we celebrate the power of creativity and curiosity, we are excited to welcome someone who embodies that spirit every single day.
Ritik, an IBDP2 student at Oakridge International School, Bachupally, pours his passion into digital art and diverse design, constantly exploring new ways to bring his ideas to life.
When he's not creating, Ritik dives headfirst into coding, cooking, taekwondo, poetry, and playing the guitar, often reflecting on life through absurdist philosophy, all to the sound of a metal playlist.
We are truly honored to have him here share his journey and insights with us today. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to Ritik Pedetti.
Hi guys, I'm Ritik. Nice photo. Have you ever noticed? Oop, my mic. Hello? Test. It's not loud enough. Hello? Yep. Have you ever... Hello? Check. Can someone... No. Have you ever noticed how sometimes everything just clicks? You say the right things at the right time. Words flow as the crowd listens. And life, even if just for a moment, feels perfectly in sync, like the final puzzle piece fitting into its place effortlessly. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the ancient Greeks called Kairos. Not chronos, the ticking of every second and every minute, but Kairos, the right moment at the right time. Now in the Big 25, we live in a world where time is everything. We have calendars, notifications, deadlines, all chasing us like we're racing in a 100-meter dash against the clock itself. We treat time like a race, a countdown to doom. But what if this doomsday clock was actually a metronome? What if time never had a finish line, but a rhythm? Because even in music, rhythm isn't about the speed or tempo of your song. It's about when each note lands. A beat too early and the song feels rushed. Nobody likes a rushed song. A beat too late and the entire emotion of the song crumbles with it. I'd say life is exactly the same. We're all improvising our own melodies, rushing and dragging until we learn when to talk, when to act, and when to stay still. Rhythm dictates life. But for me, this rhythm revealed itself in an unusual place, the Taekwondo ring. You see, I've been training in Taekwondo since I was a restless tween, full of energy and ambition. I just wanted to move fast, win faster, and be the fastest. I treated every match like a sprint. Attack first, think later. You guys know Cobra Kai, right? No mercy, strike first. How many of you know Cobra Kai? Say yes. Yes, okay. It's like that, okay? So, although my kicks were lightning fast, my timing was chaos, utter chaos. I was so busy trying to prove myself that I had forgotten the rhythm of a fight. Every match felt like racing in the Chrono Grand Prix. No pit stops, no refuels, just endless laps. I was oblivious to the fact that the Chrono Grand Prix was nothing but a highway. And then, when I had finally burnt out, I began to wonder, was I really moving forward? Then came one match that changed it all. I remember the mat beneath my feet, the blinding glare of the lights, the sharp scent of sweat and adrenaline. My opponent was a back leg slugger, the kind of fighter whose kicks could shake the ground. But I was just a front leg prober, fast, light, and constantly tapping at my opponent's defense, like a drummer searching for a beat. But this time, speed alone was not enough. No. Midway through the fight, I had made one wrong move. One split second too early, and my opponent's roundhouse kick slammed into my stomach. The air rushed out of my lungs as I fell to the mat. And at that moment, everything had just stopped. Mike Tyson once said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But what had happened in the Taekwondo ring went against the legend's words. You see, in that stillness, I began to think. I had realized that I did not get hit because I was weak or because I was too slow. I got hit because I was out of rhythm. And so, I got back up and I waited. I watched my opponent's every move, every breath, every twitch of his shoulder. I did not want to rush my next attack. Instead, I let time breathe through me. And then, there it was. The kick, it's coming. With the sudden shift of his weight, the tightening of his core, the kick is finally coming. Quick, evade, slip back. And so, I slipped back on the mat. And my opponent's kick swept the empty air in front of me. It swept the empty air. And then, before he could even land, my foot was already dug in his chest. And in that instant, I finally understood what Kairos really was about. The match changed the way I lived, changed the way I fought, changed the way I waited. The game, life, was never about the speed or power of my attacks. No, guys, no. It was about the perfect timing. You see, friends, we live in a world obsessed with productivity. We have reminders, schedules, and endless goals dictating our everyday lives. Do you really want that? But could this obsession really be causing more harm than good? When we count every second on the clock, are we really living the moment? We rush through our days, checking boxes instead of creating moments. It's like an art block of living life. Wake up. But Kairos invites us. It invites us to be in the present while the world rushes ahead. It tells us to trust the rhythm of timing instead of forcing it. It helps us to recognize that even white space on a blank canvas is just as important as a paint stroke that follows it. It lets us know that a pause in a song is just as important as the loudest chord. And finally, tells us that waiting, if done with a purpose, shapes time rather than wastes it. So the next time you feel that life is going too fast or too slow, stop counting the beats. Listen. The moment you've been waiting for might have already arrived. Waiting for you to paint that stroke, for you to land that kick, or even for you to find that rhythm. Because at the end of the day, it's not Chronos that defines us. It's not Chronos that defines us. It's Kairos, the art of being in sync with time itself. Thank you.
From the age of 12 to 17, from Chronos to Kairos, Ritik's journey hasn't been about growing older. It's been about growing into himself.
Taekwondo became his timeline. Every belt, every bruise, every early morning session, each one a moment that pushed him, grounded him, and shaped him.
From the age 12 to 17, from Chronos to Kairos, this has been Ritik's journey. One kick, one moment, one breakthrough at a time. We would now like to invite Mr. Rajesh Makwana to felicitate our speaker, Ritik Pedetti.
I would now like to hand over the mic to our event managers for a workshop.
Welcome to the Kairos Mapping Workshop, a space where we pause, reflect, and express something meaningful. Kairos refers to a special kind of time, not measured by clocks, but by moments. A moment where something shifted for you, taught you something, or changed how you saw the world. I think you all have a pretty good idea of what Kairos is. So now today, you'll be mapping one such moment visually. It can be abstract, symbolic, colorful, anything that expresses your story. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
To help you understand what a Kairos movement can look like, here's one of mine. During an event, everything started to go wrong. And I felt like things were slipping out of hand. So I think I took a single deep breath, just 1 second to pause and reset. And that small moment changed everything. I focused better, handled things more calmly, and the entire situation shifted. It wasn't dramatic, but it mattered. That's what a Kairos moment is, a realization, a shift, a moment that sticks with you. Yours could be as big or small, serious or simple, anything meaningful to you.
Guys, this is how your workshop will work. Right now, volunteers are handing out papers and pens, right? You'll have 15 minutes to reflect on a Kairos moment and draw it using colors, symbols, shapes, or a few words. If you're unsure where to start, the following prompts can help you. Firstly, when was a moment something shifted in your life? What
Pandemic into something so meaningful that empowers others through art.
Founder of Art for Cause, a youth-led initiative, Shali blends creativity, technology, and social purpose to raise funds for education and health, all with the motto, art that inspires, donations that empower.
She's an Oakridge alumna and computer science engineering student. She's passionate about turning ideas into impact. We're thrilled to have her share her inspiring story at TEDxOakridgeBachupally Youth 2025. Without further ado, let's call upon Sai Shali Reddi.
Have you ever had those moments where you had the strong urge to start something new? Maybe launch a podcast, start a YouTube channel, or even start working on your dream project. But then the what ifs whispered. What if I fail? Or what if I'm not ready yet? Hi everyone, I am Sai Shali Reddi, founder of Art for Cause. And yes, I have had those moments as well. Moments where I wondered, can I really bring a difference? Or do I even have what it takes to start something new? For me, it all started with a blank canvas and a restless feeling. During the lockdown, as the world was shutting down, something in me wanted to help, to do something. I was 16 then, a 10th grader whose board exams had just been cancelled. Thank God. And life around me had suddenly slowed down. I had all the time and space to pause and reflect on what was happening around me. It was then that I was hearing stories about families who were unable to access basic health care, or students who were missing out on school. You see, I'd always loved painting. It was my quiet space, something that belonged to me. And then I thought, maybe I can't change everything in the world, but I can start somewhere. And that was the spark. It felt as if my art had found a new purpose. No plan, no structure, no experience, just a small idea. An idea to start selling my paintings and raise funds to support those families, access healthcare and education. So I took the leap, opened my WhatsApp, took a picture of my painting and uploaded it with a small caption saying, selling my painting to raise funds and support those affected by the pandemic. I still remember the nervousness that day. Would even reply, or would even someone consider me or trust me, a 16-year-old who had nothing but a few paintings and a big ambition? And to my surprise, I had one of my relatives reply to me. She wanted to buy my artwork, the artwork that I made just because it made me happy. And that relative, that painting had changed everything. That amount went to help a domestic worker get her COVID-19 vaccination. It wasn't a huge amount, but it meant safety for her and peace for her family. And that changed something in me. I realized that bringing a change doesn't really require a big plan or a big bank account. All it requires is the willingness to act with whatever you have. And then came what most Indian students call the most intense phases of their life, 11th and 12th grade. Competitive exams, coaching classes, and endless assignments. And at a point,
I did feel that art for cause might fade away. But then, the same voices that at the start kept telling me you're not ready yet were now replaced with don't give up yet. And I didn't give up. Even though I was not able to make time like before, I found small ways to keep it alive. I formed a team of people who believed in the idea as much as I did. They organized fundraisers, they planned initiatives, they handled outreach and kept it going. Sometimes the progress was slow, and few months there was no progress at all. But I always reminded myself and my team, little progress is also progress. And one of my most memorable moments from this was an art fundraiser stall at a local engineering college. A lot of students were around the stall, and most of them had never painted before. But they picked up those paints and brushes to paint with pure intention, just because they wanted to contribute. And that day, what stayed with me wasn't how much I raised, but the intention and the energy those students brought. That was hope. And that's the true beauty of taking the first step. A small spark turns into a ripple of effect, changing the lives of people whom you have never even met before. And that phase of my life had taught me something so important that I still hold close. The word consistency isn't always about speed or the outcome. It is about showing up even when things move inch at a time. We all wait for the perfect moment, right? When we feel ready, when we are more prepared, more experienced, more planned. But perfection can be paralyzing, because the truth is, impact comes when you act even before you feel ready. Because readiness is a moving target. The more you wait, the further it will drift away. And for me, I think that's what Kairos truly means. The right moment will unfold when you decide to act. But let me be honest, there were moments of doubt as well, moments where I thought, am I really doing enough? Or whatever I was doing was bringing some change? See, it's easy to question ourselves, especially when our actions feel so little in this huge world. But let's always remember one thing. For me, it was the fact that I wasn't changing the whole world. I was changing someone's world. And that is where I've learned is the true impact. Because none of us will ever feel ready. We all are humans, we all are uncertain, messy, and imperfect. But courage is acting even before you know the outcome. So maybe the question isn't, am I ready yet? But rather, what can I start with today? Because every journey starts as a thought, but it truly comes alive when we take a step forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalini, for reminding us that small actions can lead to big change.
Your blend of art, technology, and social purpose inspires us all to think differently about how we can make a difference.
Let's give it up for her. We would now like to invite Mr. Narendra Veera and Ms. Triveni Achanta on stage to felicitate our speaker, Sai Shali Reddi.
Grit, a powerful reminder that the right moment of often belongs to those.
We would now like to invite Ms. Pooja Kumari to come forward and present the certificate to Shikriti Kohli in recognition of her TEDx speech.
We would now like to invite Dr. Pooja Kumari on stage to present the certificate to Himant for his inspiring TED Talk.
Next, we kindly invite Ms. Pooja Kumari to come forward and present the certificate to Shikriti Kohli in recognition of her TEDx speech.
As we reach the end of this inspiring event, it's time to express our gratitude. We now invite our executive producer, Niharika Yadav, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Maya Angelou had once said, People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And if today made you feel something, then TEDx Oakridge Bachupally Youth 2025 has done its job. Good evening, everyone. I'm Niharika Yadav, the executive producer of this edition of TEDx Oakridge Bachupally, and it's an absolute honor to be delivering the vote of thanks today. Today wasn't just an event for us. It was months of planning, curation, frequent crash outs, and teamwork coming together beautifully. Thank you to the executive team for being the brain and backbone for bringing this event to life. To our organizers, Shrinika and Purvika, for handling 1,000 small things and being the silent engine behind this event. To our event managers, Aditya, Arav, and Rohil, thank you for keeping every minute in place, even when time seemed to run away. Stage and rehearsal teams, Stuti, Sharvita, and Pranav, thank you for managing rehearsals and ensuring every element of the stage design was executed seamlessly. The design team, Lasya and Lavanya, thank you for designing the visuals that made TEDx Oakridge Bachupally absolutely stunning. To our finance managers, Taran and Akshit, thank you for making our ideas fit into our budget. Our video and production leads, Delisha and Arav Joy, thank you for capturing every moment beautifully and handling all technical difficulties today. To our curators, Siddhi, Parmita, and Nishika, thank you for turning ideas into speeches and speeches into moments. The website team, Navtej and Veda, thank you for giving our TEDx a digital home that didn't crash even once. The marketing team, Madhurima, Parnika, and Isha, thank you for building the hype around TEDx Oakridge Bachupally Youth 2025. To Smita ma'am and Naseema ma'am, our teacher curators, thank you for your thoughtful guidance, valuable feedback, and for ensuring our content remained meaningful, polished, and aligned with the TEDx guidelines. A heartfelt thank you to our co-organizer, Ms. Pooja Kumari, and event advisor, Dr. Pooja Kumari, for your guidance, trust, and unwavering patience. We truly cannot imagine what we would have done without you. We are deeply grateful to our guest of honor, Ms. Deepika Rao, for taking the time to be with us today and adding such meaning to this occasion. To our wonderful speakers, thank you for sharing your ideas, perspectives, and with sincerity and passion. We're truly grateful. Having you here today made all the difference. The entire marketing and communications team and their humongous support have been extremely pivotal in the fruitful execution of this event. I sincerely thank Ms. Priya for her consistent support and cooperation. I also thank Ms. Lavanya for the meticulous financial inputs. I extend my sincere gratitude to Anuradha ma'am, Vivek sir, Shalini ma'am, and the entire SLT and PLT for their constant guidance, valuable feedback, and institutional support that strengthened the event at every stage. A sincere thank you to Triveni ma'am and Deepa ma'am for their guidance and support wherever needed. We also extend our gratitude to Rajesh Makwana sir, the head of operations, Rajendra sir and Rajesh Babu sir for providing essential technical and logistical support along with insights that significantly impacted the execution of this event. A special thank you to Jayashree ma'am and Pushpalata ma'am for conducting the origami workshop that added to the creative experience of this event. To the PAVA team, Soumya ma'am, Vamshi sir and Rafael sir, thank you for their support, coordination, and presence throughout the event. We extend our gratitude to all performers who added color and rhythm to TEDx Oakridge Bachupally. Our volunteers also deserve a huge round of applause for their dedication, discipline, and coordination. That their efficiency and commitment ensure that the event ran smoothly for all attendees. To our technical crew, for their ensuring impeccable sound, light, and stage operations throughout the event. Thank you to our decor and setup team, Mr. Ramesh Chandra Behra, Mr. Satyanarayan and team. Your effort and creativity truly shaped this entire space. In addition to this, a huge shout out to Sodexo for the wonderful food and beverages that were served today. To our MCs, thank you for maintaining the flow of the program with clarity and confidence. Having you here today made every transition seamless. And finally, to all our attendees, thank you for your presence,
engagement, and willingness to be a part of this event, to be a part of the day dedicated to learning and inspiration. If I missed acknowledging anyone, please accept my apologies. Your contribution has still been deeply valued. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Niharika, for that inspiring speech and for being the driving force behind TEDx Oakridge Bachupally Youth. It is truly because of your vision and dedication that we could bring this event to life.
We would now like to invite our organizers, Purvika Sethi and Shikriti Reddy, once again to share their brief reflection looking back on the journey, the challenges, and the moments that made TEDx Oakridge Bachupally Youth come to life.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shrenika. As an organizer, taking up such huge responsibilities was never an easy task. Whether it was procurement deadlines, text color, or fonts, nothing was ever easy. We planned everything right down to the punctuation marks, which is what you see in this very presentation. Every obstacle, small stones, and huge boulders alike only made me realize what my real limits are, and how we as a team were able to surpass even the most daring of plot twists. I realized what it truly means to pour my heart out into something, and I'm proud of the vision that you are experiencing here today.
Today doesn't mark a singular event. It marks the compilation of so many efforts put in by 23 kids with dream, faith, and relentless dedication. Without my team, we won't be standing here. From the executive team and executive producer Niharika, who forgot to mention herself, and even managers to finance and curation, all of them took on roles far beyond their titles. So for them, thank you so much. Now, this event is so much fun for us. This event is even better with their enthusiasm and your enthusiasm as well. The journey I walked was something unique to me and my team, one that I'll never forget for a lifetime. So having you here right now just made my day. I was lucky enough to have some of the most dependable and talented people to walk alongside me, and can only hope that you enjoyed this event as much as we did shaping it into what it is. Thank you for your time. TEDx Oakridge Bachupally Youth 2025, signing off.
A huge shout out to our incredible volunteers, from managing the tiniest details to keeping the day flowing perfectly.
They worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make today possible.
We'd like to take a moment to recognize each of them. Please come on stage when you hear your name.
Nakshatra K, Satvik Reddy, Anvita Vijay, Sai Pranati,
Sarayu G, Dipanvita N, Pavan Shrikar, Sahas Gode,
Sriksita Sridhara, Srivas Majetti, Rajasri, Harshika Reddy Bobali.
Anvita Golla, Sharvi Sriram, Shrestha P, Divyansh Saini,
Akhil Raj Pitta, Virasita Loka, Ishita Mukku, and Kanavika Rao.
Thank you once again to all our incredible volunteers for making today possible.
We would also like to thank our teacher volunteers for taking their time off on their weekend and guiding our volunteers. Now, it's time to meet the incredible team behind the scenes, the ones who made today possible.
Their passion, creativity, and countless hours of hard work made this event a huge success. From planning and design to coordination and execution, they've truly poured their hearts into every little detail.
Let's give the executive team a huge round of applause.
First up, we have our teacher organizer, Ms. Pooja Kumari, and event advisor, Dr. Pooja Kumari.
Next up, we have our organizers, Purvika Setti and Shrinika Reddy. We would now like to invite Mr. Vivek Mandal to felicitate us, our organizers.
We request the executive team to come up on stage.
Our executive producer, Niharika Yadav.
The event managers, Arar Sugla, Naga Aditya, and Rohil Devani.
Our teacher curators, Ms. Nasima Khanam and Ms. Smita Ghosh.
The curators, Nisika Chowdhury, Siddhi Kotari, and Parmita Kasu.
The video and production directors, Arav Joy and Delisha G.
The design managers, Lasya Yalavarthi and Lavanya Saraf.
The website managers, Veda Krishna and Navtej Reddy.
The communication and marketing managers, Ishya Yalavarthi, Parnika Mritivada, and Madhurima Gudduru.
The rehearsal and stage managers, Raj Pranav, Sharvita Avtu, and Sai Stuti.
And lastly, the finance managers, Taran Tumala Charla and Akshitra Buri.
We would like to call upon Mr. Vivek Mandal for a photograph.
May I request my fellow SLTs to join me for the graph, please? Photograph. And all the teacher volunteers as well. Please, let's grab the occasion. And my dear students, audience, can we have the round of applause for all of them, please? Thank you. Just ensure that TEDx logo is please come. Please come. Yes. Miss Priya, your presence is required. Please come in.